What's going on, friends? Welcome to the video for this week. Going over everything I've been working on in my artistic lifestyle. This is a few weeks old, so bear with me. But I wanted to share with you some details on the quarter series. This is week one. Just a quick one-page shot of some of the elements taken from the Survivor. If you want to check that out, I will put a link down below. But since then, I've been working on the second page for the second week's story, Bunny Problems. I really like these one-shot-esque kind of showing elements from the quarter series, because it means I'm working on this story. Even though I've got everything else going on, I'm able to put some time in and get some ideas fleshed out, because this is going to be a huge undertaking for sure. I will be throwing a video of me working on that with my Patreon. It can be, I'll show a little clip here, but they'll get the full time lapse while I'm talking about stuff pertaining to the quarter series as well as Bunny Problems, and we'll get our first look at a couple new characters for sure. But as I promised a couple weeks ago, I wanted to be talking about some comics as well. For last comic book club, we read Rat Queens, and this is super dope. If you have a local comic book stores and they aren't getting Image first, these are dollar comics. They're the first issue of these series. You can check them out. You can check out the art, see if you like them. They should be ordering them because it only makes sense, because they're dollar comics. People are quick to pick them up. But this is Rat Queens. There was some controversy with artists and stuff, and I'm not going to get into that because I'm starting to read this series for sure. I read this first issue and immediately went out and got the first volume because the art's fantastic, the story is so much fun. It is essentially a story of a D&D group. They're questing and such, and the DM like laying everything out, but like none of that. It's so transparent. Like, you're essentially in the world of their characters, watching them with these things take place, and like there's very obvious things that happen, like if somebody low rolls and aren't able to make an attack. But it's so much fun. The art is so awesome. You're following the Rat Queens, which are this group of 4 ladies, a couple spell users, a barbarian-esque warrior type, but like, it's so rad. This is done by Image Comics, and you just gotta check it out for sure. Image is really great about throwing previews in for other stuff too. Just such cool stuff. And you get them fighting this big troll. But yeah, definitely worth your time. Definitely worth checking out. Rat Queens by Image. Get your local comic book shop to check that out. And secondly, I just picked this up a few weeks ago, but this is getting Tartakovsky, who is best known for Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack. He actually drew this. It's a 4-issue long arc with Luke Cage, and it's exactly his art. Like, you get this groovy, just awesome, chill, outworldly experience. Like, you have him in a daze, but like, it's very Samurai Jack-esque with the action and fighting sequences. The story is so ludicrous and so Tartakovsky. but I'm so glad I picked this up for sure. It's so much fun. If your only introduction to Luke Cage was the Netflix series, that's the only stuff I know of Luke Cage. Seems like it followed his dilemma and powers pretty well. That this is kind of contrivable to that, and this was done, oh my god, 2016. So I mean, it was way before the Netflix series. So definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of Samurai Jack, Dexter Laboratory, his art for that stuff for sure. Then what else we got? Whiteboards. Whiteboards are essential to my comic planning process. I'm going to be showing off some of that for sure. I got one whiteboard. If you follow me on Facebook, you saw me put out a post to friends asking for whiteboards. One was for talking about people with my comic book club. I will throw a picture up here to like explain what I'm talking about, kind of giving a brief synopsis of Rat Queens, why somebody should check it out, and then a list of all of us that read it and our thoughts on it and why we really enjoyed it. So that's one whiteboard, but the second whiteboard is a big 3 by 5 foot beast, and that's what I'm going to be using to plot out the entirety of Quarter Series. There's been a lot of fun these last few weeks with my stories that I write while I walk, and a lot of tangible things are taking form, and it's very cool to see. I don't want to spoil anything, but also it's really cool to see the creation of this happen day by day. We're essentially right in the middle of the story, and everything that happens because all of this stuff lining up at the exact same point. And things happen because of other things, and there's a domino effect for it all. But it's really cool seeing all this take form, because I'm essentially just shooting from the hip while I'm walking in the morning. And you can see all this stuff as I'm putting it into details. I'll throw a link down to the post on Patreon that I had for Bunny Problems. I think it's public. If it's not, I'm pretty sure it's public. But I'll putting that on my writing.com and getting critiques from over there, seeing what I can work on, what to help my writing, story writing details, whatever. But the work on Quarter Series continues. I will be going into 2020 working on more of this because I'm loving everything that I'm doing with it. Also, if you want to check out Patreon, getting more behind the scenes details on all of this, highly recommend it, because it's going so well, and like walking people through the process of me determining and figuring out all this stuff on the go. Be forewarned, going into January, I'm going to be sharing a lot of I Never Forgot pages. That's going to be the $1 tier. I believe the second tier is $5, and that's where all the Quarter Series stuff is going to be going, just because it's not it's kind of on the back of the stove, but also it's constantly being worked on. And like, these are going to be there's going to be videos. I will put those on the $1 tiers, but like the behind the scenes stuff, drawing these characters out one out a month at least, that's going to be the $5 tier. And you're going to get the behind the scenes look for all of that stuff there. So I don't like to be this guy that like, you should support me on Patreon if you want to see more of this stuff. But honestly, it's so cool seeing all this stuff come together. But also, I think it's just cool seeing other artists' perspective on how they create. And I think a lot of my details are ringing true through in all of that. And I'd like to get feedback if you're so inclined to tell me if you're digging the story or the elements of it. But for sure, issue 11 kicks off for I Never Forgot on Patreon. You'll be seeing actual pages, not roughed out designs, for sure. In the month of January, I'm gonna try getting 2 at least a week. For sure, I want to be through issue 11 posted on my Patreon at the end of February for sure. But you'll get a lot of that behind the scenes stuff at the $1 tier if you are so inclined. If not, no big deal. I'll still be sharing artistic stuff that I'm doing here. I'm going to put a video right here because Christmas was a week ago and I got this really cool present for my nephew, and the stuff, I'll let the video explain it.
In a month, they're all scattered across their
This is the coolest shit ever. It's like snot. It's that thing. So find this stuff because it's the coolest.
But anyway, thanks for checking out this video. I appreciate all you guys' support, even the comments down below. I hope everything's treating you well in this new year as well as last. So cool to see what everybody's working on, and I'm a big fan of seeing everybody's work that they've been working on. Hopefully these videos will stay constant through 2020, but I think I'm going to use the old outro one more time, and then I'll probably be using the new gunk to make a new one in these next couple weeks. So thanks for all my Patreon support over there. Until next week, keep reading what you're reading. Let me know what you're reading down below, what comics I need to be checking out. There's a lot of new indies coming out that I want to be sharing with you guys too. So I'm going to be looking at reading 2 trades a week, so there'll be plenty to talk about for sure. Until next time, I'll catch you later. Peace. I almost forgot. This week's random podcast was awesome because we went over our top 10s for movies this year. Luke's was pretty spot on. I kind of had a feeling of what he was doing, but mine, I'm pretty excited about mine. We had 5 solid top ones, and then the second 5 were kind of just some fun ones I wanted to throw out there. The ones that I enjoyed this week, or this month. If you want to check out any of those, I'll run down my top 10 right here. At number 10, Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and Furious. I mean, it's a series, you like it or you hate it. So if you like it, I'm sure you loved it. I saw it a couple times with my nephews and they loved it. So only made it funner for me. Ready or Not was a fun one. Hide and Seek, High Stakes. Can't get better than that. Number 8 was Crawl, a surprisingly exciting film. Kind of really entrenched in that terror of alligators and such. 7 is Abominable, a story about a Yeti. I believe it was Pixar. I'm not completely sure on that, but it's an animated children's movie, but with such age-appropriate undertones. It's cool to get a story like this from creatives pushing the boundaries and not treating kids like kids and actually like wanting to have a decent conversation with them. Number 6 is In Fabric. That movie is insane and such a crazy horror movie about a killer dress. That's all I'm going to say. If that doesn't intrigue you to worth checking it out, I don't know what's going to. 5 is Blinded by the Light. You get a Pakistani, I believe, refugee living in the Ukraine, or UK, that discovers Bruce Springsteen's music and like kind of falls in love with it. They do a lot of great effects with lyrics and everything. Just a really heartfelt story, true story based on true events and stuff. So awesome. Number 4 being Booksmart. What a great movie. If you haven't checked that out, you definitely need to. Number 3, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Tarantino's newest. It's kind of like a day in the life of Hollywood, following Brad Pitt for the most part. Great scenes. Leonardo DiCaprio nails his role for sure. At number 2, Fast Color. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but definitely worth checking out if you are a creative like me. And then number 1 is going to be Us, because that movie has stuck with me. Even a half a year later, I still think about it and all the themes that were present. Jordan Peele is one of those insane directors that I can't wait to follow and see what he does next. So check those out. The link for the top 10 of 2019 podcast is going to be down there. So check that out. And then we'll get back to everything else next week. Later.
With the echoes from the amplifiers ringing in your ear, you smoke the man's last cigarette, remembering what she said. So here